Paddy, thanks a million for having us down to see you down here. The season so far, are you happy with how it's gone?
Yeah, it's gone okay. The horses are in good form. I'd like to have a few more winners. We've trained a lot of seconds and thirds this year. No, we've trained plenty of winners as well. But you'd just like to have had a smoother run at it. And if you told me in April at this stage of the year that I'd have only trained one group winner, I'd be, wouldn't have been too impressed with you. But they have ran very well, and they are classic place, second in Group 1s, third in Group 1s, placed in group races all the way through and running to a good level. But we've still a lot to achieve this year. I'm keen that we do plenty more in 2024 yet.
Yeah, and your strike rates, it's not a secret anymore how high your strike rates are. The last 3 seasons you've been over 30%. I think you're going a little bit below that this year. But why is that? Is that something that you focus on?
Not the strike rate per se. We've been lucky that the horses have ran to a good level. This year we're having a tougher time of it, down at 25% or something. But I think this year 52 or 3% of the runs have been in the first two. We're 52 or 3%. I try to run the horses where I think they fit, and we're always trying, as Mark Johnson would say. Every time we go to the races, we're trying. And we try to run the horses in the races that we think best suits them. we have a think about it. We look at the programme. I talk to Billy, and we try to run them where we feel that they belong.
Yeah, and it's rare, to my eyes anyway, that there's a Paddy Twomey horse in a race that it doesn't have a real chance of winning.
Yeah, look, I suppose when we go racing, our horses first time out oftentimes can be a bit green or just not absolutely streetwise. But for the most part, if we're running them, I really want to win, and it's not a win at all costs, but I want to be competitive. I think I said when I started training that there's in the parade ring after there's 4 spots, and I'd like to walk into one of them at least, every day. Yeah. If we don't finish in the 4, if we have to go to the also runs to take the saddle off, I don't enjoy that walk too much.
And just a few of the horses specifically, One Luck, were you delighted that she got her listed race win on the board then the other day?
Yeah, because she burst onto the scene as a 2-year-old, and she was ultra impressive, winning first time in the Goffs Million. And just for her this spring, whether it was weather or just in general, she didn't just come. We were getting on a Guineas sort of preparation, but she never just came on that journey with us. We ran her early in the season in Cork in a winner's race to try and bring her forward, and she won that. They made her 1-20 favourite, which was tough, but she won it. But she just, you never felt that you were getting the best of her this spring. And we let her alone after we ran her in the Guineas trial in Leopardstown. I think it's called the Cornell's Court in May. We left her alone after that race and just left her be herself for a while. And there was a bit of a spark there just before Galway again. We gave her a piece of work, and she hadn't worked for a while, and I thought that she was in good form. We went to Galway, and she finished 7th or 8th, but she just was a little bit ring rusty on the day and actually didn't run too bad. So we pinged her back out the following week in the Hurry Harriet, and we were back. It was the first time we saw the spark we'd seen before. And I thought that she was in good form at home, so we went for the Ruby, and she showed what she can do. She showed a lovely turn of foot in the last 100 yards to put the race to bed, and hopefully she can continue now too.
Yeah, and that's it, because she's had that break. Do you think she can improve now into the autumn?
I'd hope so. We might look at something like the Denny Cardell Laverack in the Group 3 in Gorn in the end of September. She had a nice handy time of it in the middle of the summer, and I'm hoping that we'll have a good autumn with her.
Yeah. Lilac Rolla, she's been really good this season, ran really well the last day in Newmarket as well.
Yeah, she was a good 2-year-old. She won her maiden well in Cork. We backed her up in the Loaders winners race, where it was a good race, and she and Opera Singer got in a ding dong, and she beat her, and we left her alone for last year then, and she came back in the spring and she won the Prairie Bell, the Guineas trial, and thought she ran a great race in the Guineas to be second to Fallen Angel. We decided to go to Newmarket for the Falmouth, where she ran another very good race to be third again to Porta Futura. She seems to stay a mile well, and I think that she'll run in the Matron Stakes on Champions Weekend.
It's a race that's very close to your heart. Pearls Galore won it and went close the year before as well.
Yeah, we've had 3 runs in it in the last 3 years. We were third last year with Just Beautiful. We won it the year before with Pearls Galore, and we were second the year before that with Pearls Galore. So if we could stay in that sort of form, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, good. Purple Lily, she's in the Matron Stakes as well, is she?
She is, but she'll go for the Blandford, hopefully, the Blandford Stakes on the Sunday at the Curragh. I'll forfeit her out of the Matron, I'd imagine. Again, she hasn't over-raced. She won her maiden in Galway well last year, and she's been good this year. She won well in Naas at the start of the year, and we went for the Salsable thinking that I thought we'd stay and hoped we'd win, and we met Mr. Wells filly who was very good and won the Epsom Oaks next time out. He did assure me afterwards that his filly was pretty good, so and it turned out like that, and I ran her back in the Guineas where she was 5th. She ran well, and we gave her a chance through June, and was delighted the way she ran in the Irish Oaks. I'm not sure she quite stays a mile and a half, but she ran a very good race, and the 2 fillies that were first and second have since finished the other way around in the Yorkshire Oaks, so it looks strong form, I'd say.
And do you think that 10 furlongs is more a trip than 12?
I think so. I think she probably doesn't mind a bit of giving the ground. I think she doesn't mind a bit of juice. She can handle good ground, but I think she gets through softer ground maybe better than others. And I think that as long as it's safe ground on Champions Weekend, I think 10 furlongs there will suit her. I'd like the idea of the Blandford Stakes for her, and maybe one other race before the end of the year if we could.
Right. Beechwood and Isla Mujeres, they're both in the Blandford Stakes as well.
Yeah, I think Lila Mujeres obviously won the Lenaban and ran a very good race on ground, probably quicker than she'd like, and to give thanks there last month. You couldn't rule out that she'd run in the Blandford Stakes in the Blandford Stakes as well. But preference might be to wait for a few weeks with her. But we'll see near the time. And Beechwood, she's joined us this summer, and she's had 2 good runs. She ran very well in the Connacht Oaks the last day. We probably will stay down at listed level just for the minute before stepping into a group race, like the Blandford Stakes, I'd imagine.
Is that like you kind of like to allow your horses just progress kind of through the ranks?
If they could, I'd like to try with most horses to win every race they can along the way. So we're a big fan of the winners' races, which in England would be a novice. It's a hard race to win in Ireland. You need a good horse to win. With a penalty, those races with a penalty. But they're a nice race, and if you can step into listed level and step onto group level, I like them to try and go through the grades rather than rushing up along if possible. Yeah. But every horse is different, so.
Yeah. Firebird, she was good at Cork and just got nutted there at Naas the last day.
Yeah, she was ready to run going to Cork. We were happy with her. She's the filly that joined us last year from Rebecca Menzies in England. She's a nicely bred filly, and I was delighted in Cork the way she won her maiden. And we took her back to Naas, whatever it was, 10 days later, and again a sharp price favourite, but she won the winner's race, impressively, and I thought that set her up nicely for the Ballyogan last week. Again, she won the race on her side and ultimately lost the race. The filly across the track won, Fozzie's filly, and but I was thrilled with how she coped with the step up in grade. She had to race against more experienced rivals and higher class rivals than she'd raced against before. And I thought she did well to, quicken in the last furlong. She put space between her and the rest of the field on that side. So I was a bit disappointed we didn't win, but delighted with how she performed.
Yeah, and do you know where she might go next now?
I gave her an entry in the Sceptre Stakes in Doncaster in 2 weeks' time, but maybe we might stay in Ireland and run in the St. Bridget's Pastures, the listed race at the Curragh. I think it's the 5th of October, 6 furlongs for fillies only. I think that might be a nice spot for her. I'd hope that she'll make a very exciting 4-year-old next year. Right. So I don't want to run her too many times this year if that's the case.
Yeah, good. And Super Sox won the Platinum Stakes and then ran really well in the Ferry Bridge.
Yeah, Super Sox again didn't run as a 2-year-old. She's a big filly, and she started nicely in the spring. She was third. She was second to a very nice horse of Michael Halford's in Cork over a mile, and then she went to the Curragh and Guineas weekend, and I think beat 2 colts comprehensively. Showed ready acceleration to beat them, and both of them won by quite a distance on their next start. I think Gallen won by 9 lengths, and Carter's Bay won by 8.5. You know, they were nice colts. I think they're rated 105 and 90 something now. And we gave her a chance then because she's tall to just to fill her frame.
Right.
And she went to Cork for the Platinum Stakes, and I was delighted the way she won that. Ran her back there yesterday in the Ferry Bridge, and I'd say, look, just a bit of inexperience in a turning track, just mightn't have played to her strengths. Matilda Picot set good lively fractions in front, and I think that our inexperience told maybe. Right. And I'd hope that back in the straight track or whatever, just a more evenly run race, that we'll win a race like that, before the year's out.
Yeah, and that's the plan, is it, to go on?
Yeah, I think so. Like, again, I put her in the Scepter, but she might stay at home, and I'd imagine she'll stay in training as a 4-year-old because I think she has plenty of ability, and I think she should be able to win a group race with a little bit of luck.
Yeah, good. Your Dora Chris won well at Roscommon there the last day.
Yeah, she's a nice filly, belonged to the Callanan family from Monasterevin. She's given them great fun. She had a good introduction in Roscommon where she was second, and we gave her a tough task in a winner's race in Killarney over a mile, an extended mile, and whatever it is, 100 yards or on her second start, and I just felt she maybe didn't quite stay. The horse that won has since won a listed race in France, and the form of that race looks good, and she went to Roscommon the other day and she won very nicely. Back at 7 furlongs, and look, hopefully the plan, they're breeders, so they'd love to get a bit of black type for her, so something like maybe the Ingabel or the Blineham, or she'll mix it there in listed races at 6 or 7 furlongs, and the trainer has one eye very much on the foreign final in Naas.
Right.
She qualifies for that, and it's a big pot, and we won it last year, and those big pots are nice to win if you can get them, so.
It doesn't strange you to win those big pots.
Yeah, no, it's a good incentive, I think, for those median auction grade horses, that there's a nice pot at the end of the year to aim at, and I think all the trainers support it well.
Yeah, and could she run in the Ingabel and then go on to that?
I think she can.
Yeah.
She's tough and she's hardy, and she's a nice filly to train, and so a little bit. And her owners love going racing, so and they enjoyed winning the other day. So a little bit of luck.
Good stuff. I have to ask you about Seo Linn, who won the bumper at Ballin there the last day, an unusual one for you.
Yeah, we hadn't had a bumper runner for, Claire told me, 3,000 and something days.
Right.
So we had to renew our national hunt licence to run Seo Linn this year. But she's a filly that belonged to Anthony and Jerry, they're friends of mine, and they asked me to train her a few years ago, and she was a late maturing type, and I said to them that maybe the best plan here would be to go the bumper route. I thought they might send her to a jumps trainer doing that, but anyway, they insisted that I train her, so, and I'm delighted they did. And she was second on debut in May, I think, to one of Willie's horses, and I was delighted the way she won the other night back at Ballin. It's been a lucky track for us over the years, so it's nice to go back there.
And what will she do? Will she run on the flat at some point in the near future?
Yeah, I think that there's a listed bumper in Goran next month, which might suit her, and if that went well, we might look at some of the mare's bumpers through next spring, if they'll allow me. And once we'll finish with bumpers, I'd imagine we'll try and run on a flat maiden. Right.
And just between now and the end of the season, what would you like to happen? What do you have any goals, or do you have anything that you want to achieve?
Well, I'd like to train more winners year on year, so I have a bit to do. I'm going to have to train plenty more winners still this year. I'd like to train some group winners. I'd obviously like to train a group 1 winner if I could, but I'd like to get the horses to run to their very best of their ability every day they go out, and if we could train some group winners between now and the end of the year, I'd be delighted. We've had a lot of seconds and thirds and group 1s and group 2s and group 3s this year, and so to get the horses to run to their best, whatever that is, wherever their level is, and to win as many races as we can.